ليكن يومك للشعب ودادا ليكن حبك للأرض مداد قلم أنت فكم عبرت عنا وبنيت المجد أطوادا شداد أنت يا ملهم شعب.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In this episode, dear brothers and sisters, we are looking at the manual of life. When Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam was eventually suspended from the garden and was sent down along with his wife Hawa to go and live on earth because they ate from the forbidden fruits, then Allah gave him two things. One, Allah forgave him. فَتَلَقَّى Adam min Rabbi kalimati fatabani. Adam received a kind of statement from his Lord, and when he uttered the statement, he was forgiven. So there is nothing like the original sin. Adam was forgiven. Whoever sins among his descendants will bear his own cross. Number two is that Allah promised him that He's going to be sending down manuals, guidance, that will serve as His own manual on earth. So this will enable him to live peacefully and easily in this new abode. Unlike where he was in the garden, everything was readily made available to him. He doesn't have to labor before he eats. He doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to earn a living. Everything was made free for him. And Allah warned him that if you conduct yourself here, fine. If you don't conduct yourself, فَلَا يُخْرِجَنَّكُمَا مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ فَتَشْقَى. Do not allow Shaitan to lead you out of this Jannah so that you will not suffer, because man will always be working and earn a living for the family. So when he eventually got done, even though that was the initial plan of Allah to put him on earth, he needed a manual to be guided with. In the midst of everything that he has to do, while he labors for a living, you need to be focused on the main purpose of sending him down to the earth, and that is to worship Allah. So on getting done, the process of procreation started. So they started having children that will populate this planet called the earth. So, when you have children, even you have twins, they are not the same. You will always be managing crisis. So the art of management began, and that was one of the reasons why it was actually created and sent down to manage the affairs of earth as the first parent. So while doing this, men will always offend one another. In the place of work, while you are driving, there must be law that will be guiding your interpersonal relationships. So Allah now decided to choose some of the descendants of Adam alayhi salam to guide humanity throughout this journey, starting with Noah alayhi salam, Idris, and many other prophets that came after him. And Allah sent down manuals, revelations to some of these servants of Allah to guide them, so that they can use that to guide humanity. There are so many of them, but the popular ones among them are the Torah, given to Musa alayhi salam, the Injil, the Gospel, given to Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, the Zabur, given to Dawood, the Suf, given to Ibrahim, and the very last of them, and the one that can endure, that will endure forever, the greatest of them is the Quran, given to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So getting the originals of all those previous messages became very difficult, if not impossible, because people have dipped in their hand, they have altered some things, they have changed some things. So Allah needed to correct all those things through the last revelation, because it's not ready to reveal anything again. So He decided to protect the Quran. He gave assurance that inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. We are the one that revealed the Quran. We are the one that revealed the reminder, and we are going to protect it jealously. We will not allow any interpolation in this one, because we are not sending any other revelation. That's in Surah Al-Hijr. That is why all attempts to corrupt the Quran will always fail, because even if they corrupt the one that they print out, well, how would they corrupt the one in the heads of men? Because Quran is a book that is very unique. You see, millions of people memorize the whole Quran. The whole Quran from beginning to end, they have it in their heads. So if you remove all the hard copies, they will still reproduce it from their heads. and there's no way you can corrupt what they have in their eyes. In fact, it was transmitted orally to the Messenger of Allah, and it also transmitted orally to people before it was later documented and rendered to book form. It's the only book that's in this world that somebody who doesn't even know the meaning, he doesn't even know the language, you'll be able to commit it to memory. You can also try it. Get a copy of a language that you don't understand, just a page. Maybe Chinese language, Mandarin, whatever. Just let them write it for you and let them read it for you to memorize. If that is too far, even your local language, let them pick a Yoruba man, let them give you Igbo language, just a page to memorize. How easy would that be? No matter how many times they repeat it, it's not possible. But the Quran, you see somebody, a child of 6, 7 years, who cannot even identify what it is, you memorize the whole Quran from beginning to end, to the end. And people recite Quran from the beginning to the end in 3 days, in 7 days, in a month, and they are never tired. The more you read, the more you enjoy it, the more you get to know some things about it. So the feature of Quran is very, very unique because it has come to authenticate the contents of the previous books. So if you find any error in them, the Quran is the criterion that you use to guide, to correct that information. Quran is the light, is the compendium of life. In the book, the Quran is not a story book, but Allah narrated stories of many prophets before them, before us, so many nations, what made them, what marred them. All these are contained to guide us on how to conduct our life. Quran is not a law. It's not a law book, but it contains laws. It's not a book of science, but it contains scientific facts that are still very accurate, despite the advancement of knowledge up to today. Quran is the guide that can guide us to success in this world and the hereafter. So whoever seeks guidance in other sources will be misled because the guidance is in the book of Allah. Unfortunately to this, many Muslims don't give the Quran the attention that it deserves. Many Muslims today, they're just indifferent. They cannot read and they are not making an attempt to read. They cannot learn. They are not making an attempt to learn. Some can read, but they don't understand the meaning. Some can read, they understand the meaning, they don't implement it. But those who are perfect are those who can read, they also understand, and they implement the meaning. These are the very good. These are the very good among mankind. But the best of mankind are those that when they know, they also implement, and they impact on others. And these are the people who look down on. خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنِ وَعَلَّمَهُ. The Prophet said, the best of you is he who learns the Quran and impact it on others. So to take it to higher level, those who can memorize the Quran and they put it in their memory from the beginning to the end, these are operating at the level of angels. Say that Aisha, radiallahu anha, reports that Messenger of Allah said, مَثَلُ الَّذِي يَقْرَأُ الْقُرْآنِ. The example of him who recites the Quran, وَهُوَ حَافِظٌ لَهُ, and he has memorized it, مَعَ السَّفَرَةِ الْكِرَامِ الْبَرَرَةِ. It's operating at the level of the angels, the honorable angels that Allah sent down to bring the book. وَمَثَلُ الَّذِي يَقْرَأُ وَهُوَ يَتَعَهَدُهُ فَهُوَ عَلَيْهِ شَدِيدٌ. And that man that is trying to read, it's not easy for him, he's trying to learn. Maybe he's very old. That's a woman that is learning to read, and it's not easy, and it's shakun ali, very difficult for him or her. Falahu ajran. As he was saying, is going to get double reward. So where do you belong, my dear brothers? Where do you belong, my dear sisters? Do you belong to the level of angels, or the level of the best men, or you are still at the basement? Why don't you try and renew your relationship with the Quran in this Ramadan? You can do far better than what you are doing now. You don't remain on the page, you continue to move from level to another. No matter your relationship with the Quran, you can never miss, because it only gives you rest of mind in this world and the hereafter. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
جامع الأشتات أنت مذ عرفناك تحب القوم جمعا لا فرادا في خليج ومحيط عرفوا زايد ذاك الشهم من بالبذل ساد